Hey, it's Griffin Sarah, and we're at Lock 9.
In Rotterdam Junction, New York.
Is that where we are?
That's where we are.
Okay, so we're going down to see where the concrete barges were constructed.
Barges made out of concrete?
I know.
What?
Yeah, I know. My Uncle Francis used to talk about it, and we thought he was full of shit. But he worked down here on Rogers Island, the birthplace, the spiritual birthplace.
No, not the spiritual birthplace.
Of the Army Rangers,
Oh,
yes.
the Army Rangers.
Absolutely.
I thought you were going to Chittenden again.
No, that's just the spiritual
center of the universe. That's right.
No, we're at the spiritual birthplace of the Army Rangers on Rogers Island, where they also built concrete barges during World War I. I think they started in 1918. They built 6 or 8 of them here, and there's some built in other places, but it was all part of the barge, 21 of them for the concrete barge fleet. Fleet.
That's hard to say.
Anyways, I think it was built up around here somewhere. We're just going to go take a look. Not 100% sure where the barges exactly were constructed, but I think somewhere right about here. You're on Rogers Island. All right, guys, you can only see the tops of the barges right now. Most of it's submerged. We're here at Lock 9. I think we're Rotterdam, New York.
Rotterdam Junction.
Rotterdam Junction. Anyways, this is the tops of them. We're going to show you some overheads and some other photos. What these guys did was, at the end of their lifespan, about 5 years, they pushed them all up into the sides of the lock, and some of them are actually used. Okay, this is Lock 9, part of the Erie Canal system.
It's on the Mohawk River.
Yeah, right on the Mohawk. Anyways, that's where the 3 barges are. There's some farther down at like Lock 13 and I think Lock 17. But there are 21 in the fleet. 8 of them were built right in Port Edward. I'll just give you another view of the lock here. Lock 9, Rotterdam Junction. The concrete barge fleet, I don't mean they were carrying concrete.
They were made of concrete.
They were made out of concrete. Now, my Uncle Francis used to talk about this, and I always thought he was full of shit, just some kind of story to tell. But World War I, they were really short on a lot of materials such as steel. They needed it for the war effort. And wood, although they did use some steel for reinforcement, and they did use some wood for framing. But the majority of it was made out of concrete. Now, they had their drawbacks, for sure. You bump into something, and they kind of crack right away, so you've already breached your hull. They could carry 500 ton, though. Unfortunately, their displacement was different because the walls were so thick on the hull. They were like 4 inches thick. So they only were around for about 5 years. Now, this was all taken over by the government and put into the U.S. Railroad Association or Administration, which is government. Government. And they took over the canals and railroads so that they could move goods for the war effort, so they could get things over to Europe. This is World War I, so we're talking about 1918. So after about 5 years of life on the canals, they shored them up in different locks, use them for reinforcement of wall, and so you can find them at Lock 9. In the winter time's better. You can find them at Lock 13 and I believe Lock 15 or 17. So
Who knew?
Who knew?
Join us next time as we move through time and space
on another episode of whatever this is.